Hello, I'm Chef Kevin, here with Leah's Pantry and Food Pharmacy. This is another food recipe video. Today I'm going to be making a beet salad. It's going to be a really simple beet preparation, a simple lemon vinaigrette, and then just tossing it together with some greens and any type of grain or anything else that you can throw in together with the salad. Really quickly, to get started, I just have 3 loose golden beets. You can use red beets. I like to use these golden ones because they don't stain as much. The flavor is still really delicious. I'm actually just going to be peeling these beets with my knife, and so I'm just going to cut off a flat side here. Cut off a flat side on the top, and then using these flat sides, kind of cut around the curve of the beets. You can technically cook the beet skin with the beet skins on if you're doing them in the oven. This is a really simple, quick preparation. I'm actually going to be cooking these beets in the microwave. So I'm going to be taking the peels off. If you do want to keep the peel on, there's a lot of good fiber in the peel that you can still eat. Just make sure if you are going to eat with the peels that you wash them really good and get any extra dirt off of that peel. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that for the other 2 beets that I have here. Just cut a flat side off. As I mentioned, you can just use a regular vegetable peeler for this. I kind of like using my knife. Take these peels and just put them off into another bowl. I'm going to be tossing these into compost. Once you have peeled your beets, we're just going to be chopping these up into nice, about inch-sized chunks. Just kind of a nice bite size for when they get steamed and cooked. So just going to cut the beet in half, have this flat side down on the cutting board to have a flat side to work with. And then I'm going to slice this into kind of 3 long strips here, just because these are kind of smaller, medium beets, and then just chop them up. They don't have to be perfectly the same size here. They're kind of about ranging from 1/2 inch to 1 inch size chunks. Set those aside. Do that with all of your beets. If you do want your beets to be bigger pieces or bigger slices, just know that means they'll take a little bit longer to cook. We're basically going to be dropping these into the microwave in a bowl with a plate covering them. They're going to be steaming, so the microwave works really well as a steamer, as long as you have something that covers up your plate or your bowl and allows that moisture to continue to heat up and cook whatever you have in there. So I like to use my microwave as a steamer. It's a quick and easy way to cook vegetables, especially tougher root vegetables like beets that might take a really long time in the oven. I have this nice bowl that allows me to store the food, but basically if you don't have one of these types of bowls, all you need is a big bowl, a ceramic one will do, and then a plate that will cover it on the top. I've done this recipe with this bowl, and I've done this recipe with just a regular old bowl. So just grab your ceramic bowl or whatever you're going to use to put a plate on top. Throw in your beets. I'm going to add a little pinch of salt just to get some flavor going. The salt also helps in the cooking process because it helps draw out some of the moisture. Toss that around. You could add a little bit of olive oil too if you wanted, but this is going to be completely steamed, so the olive oil would just be flavor, and since I'm going to be adding olive oil to the dressing, I don't necessarily need that right now. I'm going to pop this in the microwave at just a regular strength for about 4 minutes, and I'm going to check on them. When I've done this recipe in the past, I think it can take anywhere from 4 minutes in the microwave to 6 or 7 minutes in the microwave. The best thing to do is once it's done, kind of let it hang out in there for a minute, just let the steam kind of escape on its own, and then open the lid, check it, and just try one, see if they're fork tender. But like I said, I'm going to do 4 minutes and then we'll see. So while that is cooking, while our beets are cooking, we can go ahead and get started on a simple lemon vinaigrette. So for this vinaigrette, we're just going to be using the juice of 1 lemon, some garlic. I have some pre-cut, pre-minced garlic that I have here. My dad used to work in a restaurant, and this is how they would keep it in the restaurant. They would cut it and then preserve it in some sort of cooking oil or olive oil, keep that in the fridge. Makes a lot of cooking easier. Then just some nice olive oil, salt, and pepper. And that's it. That's all we need. You can add in any herbs like parsley, mint, anything green, onions, spring onions, whatever floats your boat. I just grabbed a little strainer because my lemons have seeds. So the juice of 1 lemon, which turns out to be anywhere between a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Basically, we're going to eyeball and measure out around the same amount of olive oil to add to the dressing. So here we have about a tablespoon. It's liquid, so it's kind of moving around. It's about a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of half of just olive oil. Going to add in about a garlic clove. You could do 2 if you really like it. If you really like your dressing garlicky. And then we're going to add about a teaspoon of salt. Depending on your salt preferences, you could limit the amount of salt here. The lemon juice has a nice tang to it, so this dressing will have flavor, plenty of flavor. Fresh cracked black pepper. So this is what it's looking like right now before we mix it up. Everything's kind of separate. And as we whisk this up or use a fork to bring it all together, it'll kind of start to combine. Another ingredient you can add in here is a little bit of honey. Honey's always really good in dressing. I might grab some honey after this. And honey, one of the great things about honey too is it acts as one of the agents that brings the dressing together. So honey, mustard, these are things that when you add it to a dressing, it'll help it coming together. It'll help bring your dressing together and stop it from separating it so easily. So we've all seen the separated dressing either at home or in the shopping or in the grocery store. Just the oil separated from the juices, but this is already looking really, really good. Give you just a little preview. It's kind of come together. It's got a nice little yellow color. I'm just going to give it a little taste. It's good. It's nice and tangy. I might even add a little bit more lemon juice and a little bit of honey. I'm actually going to grab some of that honey, just a little bit, probably about a half teaspoon at most. A little bit of honey goes a long way. So my 4-minute timer just went off for those beets. I'm gonna let the steam just settle for a little bit before I open and check them out. I'll probably need to microwave them for at least another minute. Also, to the salad, I will be adding some mixed greens and just some quinoa. This is just a grain that I had on hand. Quinoa is just cooked 1 part dry, 2 parts water. Bring it to a boil, simmer for 15 minutes, and then you take it off the heat. Just cook it as the instructions on the package of the quinoa say to do it. I love to add quinoa to salads. It's high in protein and fiber, and it also gives a little extra nuttiness, a little extra filling to your salad. So we have some quinoa to work with. And I'm going to grab those beets. Just be careful when you're taking the plate off of the bowl that you microwaved in. Also use a towel or use an oven mitt to grab it. It'll be hot. Just keep your face away because there will be steam, as you can see. I'm just gonna mix them up a bit. I'm gonna take one out. I'm gonna give it a little bite. They're looking really good. I mean, they've changed in color. They've become a little bit of deeper orange yellow, which is a good sign that they're cooking. My fork can't really go through it as easily. It's still kind of resistant, so I know that it needs a little bit more time cooking. There are some pieces that are smaller that have kind of fully cooked through, and it's a lot easier for the fork to just like really easily go through that. So I'm gonna give this one a little try. And that's pretty much done, but the rest of it still needs to cook. So I'm gonna pop it back in the microwave. I think another minute and a half should do the trick. Yeah, we'll check back in a minute once those are done. All right, I just took the beets out from the microwave, so they were in there for 5.5 minutes total. I did it 4 minutes the first time, and then 1.5 minutes the second time. Let it cool down. Grabbed it with some oven mitts. Kept my face away so that the steam doesn't get in my face or burn me. And these are looking a lot better now. They're a lot easier to pierce with the fork. It shouldn't be, it depends on how you want your beets cooked, but you shouldn't have to fight to get in there. And I think the less resistance, the better, the softer it'll be. They can be a little crunchy though, that's totally fine. I mean, people eat raw beets in other salad preparations, so just kind of check them out, see how they look for you. If you want them to be a little bit more cooked, obviously put them back in the microwave for maybe another minute or two. Like I mentioned, I think beets in the microwave with this method could take up to 7 minutes. So if you know that you want yours nice and soft all the way through, you could just pop it in for 7 minutes right from the beginning. But these are looking good. So I'm actually going to transfer these just to a plate, just a big regular dinner plate, just so they can cool down a little bit. So while these cool down, and obviously you could cook these a day in advance if you want them to be really cold. If you don't mind your salad being a little on the warm side, then it's not a big deal. They're good. I'm gonna get a nice big bowl. I'm gonna add about a cup of cooked quinoa. This quinoa I actually cooked with a little bit of salt and a little bit of vegetable broth, just to give it a little extra flavor. So it's about a cup. You can add more. You can add about 1.5 cups. I'm going to add the dressing straight to the quinoa, and then I'm going to be adding in my mixed greens and then the beets at the end. So you can add all of the dressing, but I would recommend adding in about half, about 2 or 3 tablespoons at a time, mixing that all up and then tasting it and seeing how it tastes for you. Everybody's taste buds are a little different. All right, I've just got some mixed greens here. I think about half a pound. I'm going to add in a few handfuls. It's got some spinach, some arugula, just some young greens in there. Just some nice filling for a salad. Has a lot of different color, a lot of different flavor. And then I'm just going to toss this together. I actually like to put on a glove and just toss this by hand. I think it's like one of the best ways to get that dressing really incorporated. But if you don't want to do that, you can always use tongs. Alright, now that I've tossed the salad, all of my greens are nice and coated. I'm actually just going to give this a little try. It's nice, it's tangy, savory. And now once I add the beets to it, it's going to have a little bit of sweetness. Other options for the salad or things to add could be cheese. Some sort of crumbly cheese that you could add straight to it, or goat cheese even. And then you could also add any toasted nuts if you want something kind of crunchy, like some sliced almonds or even sunflower seeds or pepitas. And I think with all those things in mind, it would make a very, very delicious salad. I'm just going to put some on a plate here so y'all can see it. Got a nice little plate here. Make a little pile of the salad. You can use red beets and golden beets so you can get that variety of color. But here you are. Like I mentioned, you could add some toasted seeds, toasted nuts, and cheese. But even just this completely on its own will be very delicious. I'll do a quick taste test. You can go ahead and add the rest of your dressing if you feel like it needs that flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Might add a little bit more lemon juice. I think the lemon juice will bring out some more of the flavor of the beets and the rest of the salad. And that's it. Very, very simple, basic beet salad. You cook. The only cooking equipment that you really need is a microwave and a little pot if you want to make some grains, but the grains are optional. Yeah, using the microwave as a steamer I think is a really dope, really pro tip at home. Try it out and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm Chef Kevin with the Food Pharmacy. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new from the video. Until the next one, take care.